I've never been in a crowd this big. I'm just lying. It was a great crowd. I was not the rookie of the year. I was runner for rookie of the year.
Okay.
I like the promotion every now and then. We all like to get a promotion. But anyway, I was so glad when David called me and asked me to be a speaker. He wanted me to be here in September, but I wasn't able to be here in September because I had some other commitments and everything. And I said, take a look at your schedule and see what else is going on. And I told him that I would be coming this way in October. And they was able to make that adjustment, and here I am right now. Because I've got family here, and grandkids, and great-grandkids, and all that, so I'm back in Rock Island 3 or 4 times a year. Not necessarily able to see a lot of folks. But coming here, I think this is my second visit to Rocky High since I graduated out of here. And the reason was I hated school. Don't go back to school, especially Rocky. But Rocky was the foundation of where I am today. And if it had not been with the coaches and the instructors and family members and friends, I would not be here today. I try to do a lot of things as a lot of us young folks do. We always try to do something different. And I was very belligerent, hard to deal with, and people just thought that I was going to be in trouble and in jail before I graduated out of high school. Fortunately, I had a lot of folks that had confidence in me. They talked to me and gave me advice. And one of the best advices I got was Coach Harold Shorty Palmquist, who was a legend here at Rocky. And so I got the support of the head coach. And he made a statement because there was the rumor going around is that, why are you sticking with Booker Edgerson? He might not be playing Friday when you guys play. He might be in jail somewhere. And so he just told the press, it's better for him to be out here on the field practicing than being in the streets with nothing else to do but get in trouble. He said, that's why I'm keeping him on the squad. But that was my basically the first time I started realizing that I needed to listen to the adults. Because as young folks, you know more than your parents, don't you? You know more than the grown-ups. And that's the way I was. I knew more than the grown-ups, and I knew more than what my parents knew. But I found out through life, leaving high school, going to Western Illinois, as I said, I hated school, and I was through with school. I was going to join the Marines. I went got a job at International Harvester, worked for the summer to make me some pocket money, because I knew I was going to go in the Marines, and it was going to send me to California, and I was going to have a good time. But in the meanwhile, a friend of mine's father talked to me and said, you need to continue your education. And I said, why? And he explained it to me. I had 36 scholarships. And I said, I don't want to go to school. I hate school. So when I got talked into going to college, all those scholarships had disappeared. So the money I had made during the summer working, I ended up paying my way to college the first year because all the scholarships were gone. So I had to pay my way through. So it was good. It was a good lesson to learn. And Coach Saban and Joe Collier, who was a former Rocky High, former resident of Rock Island, was a coach at West Illinois. And I was out of shape because I had not planned on going to college or anything of that nature. I was out drinking and carrying on during the summer months, getting ready to go to the Marine Corps. So I was out of shape. So when I got down to West Illinois, I was totally out of shape, and they knew it. But Coach Saban said, I see something in you, and I'm going to keep you here because I think you will be be an addition to our squad. And so therefore, I stayed. And that paved my way to where I am today in a way. Is that I ended up getting myself in shape, working my butt off. As a freshman, I was a starter. And I expected to be a starter because I had been a starter at Rocky. I had been a starter at Franklin Junior High School. So there was an expectation for me to be a starter. Not understanding that when you get to college, you got guys coming from everywhere that you got to compete against. And but that's what my expectation. That's the confidence that I had in me. And that's the confidence you should have in yourself when you go out and play against your opponents, or when you go out and try to get a job, or whatever you may do in life. If you don't have confidence in yourself, nobody else will, because they don't know you. Nobody knows you better than you know yourself. And as I said, that I was getting in trouble earlier, and I knew I was getting in trouble. I knew I needed to change. I knew I had to do something. And so this is what I'm saying. You have control over your future. And one of the things that happened with me after college, I didn't get drafted into the National Football League, American Football League. I played baseball, I wrestled, I ran track. I did all the things that I wanted to do, that I was able to do. And I, please don't take it as a brag thing, because I don't brag. But I was good at all those sports, and I was able to do it. My thing was going to be baseball. That's what I love, baseball. But unfortunately, I was going to go with the St. Louis Cardinals. But the person, I was a third baseman. So the person that played third baseman was an all-star, most valuable player, all the things above. So I knew they weren't going to put me at third base. I was going to end up in the outfield, and I didn't want to be in the outfield. So Coach Saban and Joe Tyre asked me that I want to play football. And I said, George Hallis for the Chicago Bears. I was a Bear fan then. And so I talked to George Hallis, and he said, well, you're a little small. We don't know if we can use you or not because you're small. And he asked me, he said, well, can you outrun Lenny Moore, who was an All-American Penn State playing for the Baltimore Colts? And I just said, has Lenny Moore ever run 109.7? And he said, I don't think so. I said, well, then I am in this league. But they turned me down. I got a contract with the Boston Patriots, which is the New England Patriots now. And Coach Saban said, what do you want to do? I said, okay, I'll sign the contract. I said, but put it in the drawer because I'm going to be playing baseball for the spring year at Western. And that's where they put it. But in the meanwhile, Coach Saban got fired in Boston. And he said, what do you want me to do with your contract? I said, tear it up, and wherever you go, send me another contract. Yeah. That's stupid. How did I know he's going to go somewhere else and be a coach or anything to impact my life? But fortunately, he ended up going to Buffalo as a assistant coach, and he ended up, they fired the head coach because they didn't win the games that year, and he ended up being the head coach. So he sent me a contract. They asked me that I want to play for Buffalo, and if so, I'll send you a contract. And listen, all you future football players, professional football players, I got a contract, $7,500. That's my first year, $7,500. I could have taught school and made almost that much. But the difference is that, hey, go where your heart is. Go play the game. And that's where I went. So when I got to Buffalo, going back to my confidence in myself, I said, I'll be playing first string. Well, the first day of practice, they had me at fourth string. I was fourth stringer because they had about 90 guys there, and I was 4 deep in defensive backs. And I went to complain to the coach, and I thought, do not complain. Complainers don't get anywhere. at a time like this. So I said, I'll just wait my turn. And when my turn comes, I'll show what I have to do. And that's what I did. I was on the 4th team. They threw a bunch of passes at me. I intercepted 3 of them. I made a couple tackles. And the next day, I was on the first string. And that was first string from that point on. But it just taught me another lesson, that just because you think you're good, or just because you are good, does not necessarily mean that somebody else that's controlling your future thinks you are that good. So you got to go out and prove yourself on a daily basis to be able to move up. Because becoming a professional football player is nothing easy. You know how many colleges we have here. I mean, in the United States, we got all kinds of colleges, all kinds of athletes, all kinds of different situations where you have to compete against. And so have confidence in yourself, know what you can do, but also know that there's another future for you. It's not necessarily football. I was planning my future after football because I knew I couldn't play it forever. So I put 10 years in. I put 9 years in actively, and I was on the injured reserve for my 10th year, and I scouted. And I could have played that year, but I chose not to play because there was a couple of rookies that was, my last year was in Denver, there was a couple of rookies that looked pretty good that would not have made the team if I'd stayed around. So I told, I was telling him, I asked him, Coach Stevens, I said, well, look, you got a couple guys here that probably going to end up being pretty good ball players. And I said, hey, I can only play another couple years at the most. And I said, so I might as well, make way for these guys. So what about putting me on the injured reserve and make spots for one of these kids? And that was unheard of. And he said, and that's because of the friendship we had from Western Illinois. And he said, okay. So I went on injured reserve, and one of the defensive backs was put on the active roster. But I knew I had to do something later on in life anyway, professionally. So I left football, taught school for a couple years, and said that's not what I want to do. I thought that's what I want to do, is to be with young folks and everything. But the system had changed so much, it just wasn't conducive to what I was doing. So I went into private industry. And then from that, I owned a travel agency, and then from there, I was the director of equity and diversity for a major community college for 23 years. Then I left there and retired, and that's what I'm doing right now. I'm out trying to be active, talking to young folks like you, and hopefully I can make a difference. But most of all is that you have to make the difference. You have to listen to your voice. You have to listen to the people that's out there that's coaching you. You have to listen to the people, I shouldn't say the people, your mother and father. You need to listen to some of your relatives and everything too. I was fortunate that I did have a lot of people involved in keeping me on track. And this was some of the best role models I had, because I had 3 uncles that had been in the military. One was in the Army, 2 of them was in the Marines, and I saw them, and I watched them, and I said, this is the kind of person that I want to be like. Not be that person, but be like that person. And I think that right now, you are at the point where you got to start making decisions. Going to college. Continue playing football. Continue playing basketball. Continue doing whatever you want to do. But make sure that you think about life after sports, because it will come. And a lot of guys right now, I see them all the time. They was up here at one point, now they're down there because they did not manage themselves, nor did they manage their monies. Money comes and goes. I invested Like I said, I started at $7,500. My highest, after 10 years of football, my highest salary was $25,000. With another $25,000 bonus if I get certain things. So the highest salary I would have made would have been $50,000, which I did not get to that because I chose to relinquish my last year in football. So I couldn't go out and make 3 or 4 interceptions. I could not go out and make X, Y, Z tackles or anything of that nature. You know, so those are the kinds of things you got to look at. You're still young and everything, so you still got a few years to think about what you're going to do. But at some point, you're going to have to make that decision. What do I want to do after football, after basketball, after baseball, after cheerleading, after whatever you do? Playing, there's nothing like it. I am fortunate because I had people talking to me and dealing with me on a daily basis. But getting back, an investment, I made an investment. Being smart don't always get you the right things. I made an investment, put my money, you know, they say, put your money in the stock market, put your money in this. Joe Namath, Lenny Dawson, a couple other ball players that's making big bucks, they was putting their monies in the stock market in different places. I said, I put mine. It took a hit. Well, I took a hit too. Everything broke. I didn't have nothing. All I had was a paycheck to paycheck. And a family. So I'm saying, how do you deal with this? You know, how you deal with it? Don't make the same mistake twice. That's how you do it. Learn from your mistakes. Even now, you know, if you're young, you make mistakes, you can learn from them. Just don't make too many of them, okay? But I can go on and talk about different things, but David said, don't take too long, but be patient. They want to eat, they don't want to hear you talk for too long and everything. And I will open it up for a few questions and everything. All these years that I've played football and all the years that I've been out here, I got a lot of stories to tell. But I have to do it individually. You know, I came back from my high school graduation a couple years ago, and I was thrilled to death that all these people was around me, talking to me, telling me how this, that, you know, I'm saying, great, you know, I just wish I could have had 10 minutes to talk to each one of those individuals. Because basically they saw me on TV. They know what my life was all about. They saw my success. I didn't have a chance to see their success. You know, so I just wish that I had 10 minutes to be able to go and talk to each one of those individuals and say, how you doing and how, you know, how's your family and what's your success in life was. But did not have that. So, any questions? Well, first of all, before I ask questions, how many exclusive defensive backs do we have in here? All right. Now, you know what? If you stay doing the defensive back, you know what they told me? Booker, you spent your whole career running backwards. You know, I said, well, I'm glad my life wasn't backwards. But that's what you do, you know, when you're a defensive back, you're backpedaling most of the time. You know, so good luck to all you defensive backs. You know, I did have the fortune of running back from time to time. Our star running back at Western, Leroy Jackson, who was the #1 draft choice in 1962. And Ernie Davis was the #2 draft choice, basically. So when Leroy got hurt, I would always be the fill-in for Leroy. So I did have an opportunity to run forward with the ball from time to time. So, any questions from any of you right now? You know. Put it on. Oh, I thought you were good.
Yeah, one over here.
Yes, sir. What did you say?
We get any like from Western Illinois after like you
What is the problem? No, in high school, I got like 36 offers. Colleges. And I didn't want to go to school. So that was it. I'm a student.
There's no transfer portal back there.
Well, thank you all for being. Oh, I'm sorry.
Right there.
Yes, sir. I only had 2 touchdowns my whole time. Because being a defensive back, you intercept passes, but you more than likely you're not going to run back. I had 23 interceptions during my career, and I ran 2 of them back for a touchdown. So it's not usual. And I was playing the left side cornerback, which is the toughest position, the left side, because you got your right hand quarterbacks, and they usually go to the right, and usually your strong side is always to your right, so they go to your right. And so I was considered one of the first shutdown quarterbacks when they had in the league. That when Deion Sanders came along, I had already claimed that spot to be shutdown corner. And that was it was tough, because big players know that you. David mentioned about George Commander, a great quarterback, Hall of Famer. When we played Houston Royals, they threw 68 passes a day. That day. It seemed like 60 of those passes came my way. And I intercepted one of those passes in the end zone. I ran, I run, I did this, I did that, I did this, and I did this, I did that, and I got caught at the 7-yard line. And I'm going on the sideline, helping and buffing. The coach said, "Look at you, you're out of shape." I said, "If you had all the passes thrown at you, you would be helping too." I got you to the 7-yard line, and you couldn't score a touchdown, let's get a field goal. Fortunately, we won the game. So interception is not. Interception's not easy, and running them back to touchdown is definitely not. Any other questions? Thank you all.
Thank you.